Hi, I'm Naman. I'm a third year student studying philosophy, politics and economics at Merton College, Oxford. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to write a standout personal statement. Typically for Oxbridge, the personal statement is less important than the admissions test and interview, but it's still an important opportunity for you to make a strong impression and to give material for you to discuss at interview. In this video, I'll cover what Oxbridge are looking for, how you should draft your personal statement, and my tips for a top tier standout one. Oxbridge are looking for two things from your personal statement. One, that you demonstrate you have the passion for the subject. It's not a fling, you've developed it over a sustained period of time through a diverse range of topics and mediums. Secondly, that you have the capability to do well at the subject. You can show that through historic achievements and through having interesting things to say about it. How should you go about drafting your personal statement? Firstly, make a record of all of the activities you've done that may be useful. Things like reading books, watching lectures, and listening to podcasts. For each of them, have 1 to 2 sentences on what they were about, what you learned, and how it changed your perspective. Next, we're going to look for links between those activities. The more interesting, the better. That's going to help you draw up a narrative of how you came to have a strong motivation to study the subject. Now you're ready to make your draft outline. Like a great essay, your personal statement should have a strong structure with clear paragraphs and each having a separate topic. There should be 4 to 5 in total. Within each paragraph, you want to talk about your activities and thoughts and the interactions between them. In your final paragraph, you might want to summarise your motivation for the subject or discuss your extracurricular activities you weren't able to include elsewhere. Extracurriculars are different from supracurriculars because they have limited to no relation to your subject. For example, playing sport or music. But they do demonstrate transferable skills and that you're a well-rounded person. Now for Oxbridge, it's typically recommended that 80 to 90% of your personal statement is focused on supracurriculars and just 10 to 20% on extracurriculars. So really just a line or two. Convert that outline into a full personal statement draft. Don't worry at this stage too much about length. I've found that your personal statement can be greatly improved by cutting down later. You want your reflections to be specific and interesting. What did you learn from subjects? What do they make you think? And how has your perspective evolved? Avoid cliches, try to be bold and original and venture beyond what you've studied. Conflicts are really interesting, particularly for humanities personal statements. Discussing what you previously believed and what you believe now, or the differences between different thinkers. The tutors are looking for how the interactions between your activities and thoughts led you to have a strong motivation for the subject and has evolved your views on it. Once you've got a draft down, start looking for other people to give you feedback. You want to know if it's got a clear structure, if your thoughts are interesting and persuasive, and if your passion is being clearly communicated. My advice is to stick to 2 or 3 different sources of feedback. You don't want to be dealing with too much conflicting advice. And remember, it's your personal statement. It should reflect your passion and your journey. Now comes the most tedious part, repeatedly revising your personal statement. It may take 5, 6 or more drafts. Each day for 2 to 3 weeks, come back to your personal statement and look for ways where your ideas can be better organised, the structure can be made clearer, and your thoughts can be more concise and clear. Cutting down is painful and it may mean removing activities you've done. It does sometimes feel like those activities were a waste of time because they didn't make it into your personal statement, but they still contributed to your view of the subject and to your ability to talk intelligently about it. Throughout this process, I advise that you look at as many successful personal statements as possible so you can learn from what works, and to keep doing your supracurricular activities. They keep your passion for the subject fresh. You can find great examples of personal statements and supracurricular recommendations within the UniReach app. A final disclaimer, do not include activities that you have not done. It's really clear when reading a personal statement if somebody hasn't fully engaged with the material they're discussing because the thoughts they have to say about it don't make sense or aren't particularly interesting. What makes a difference between a top tier and a less good personal statement? I believe 3 things. Firstly, having a strong narrative. Take your reader on a journey to show how you came to have a strong view of the subject and how those views evolved over time. Secondly, flow. There should be a natural progression both within and between paragraphs. And finally, for a humanities personal statement, diversity. Talk about a diverse range of thinkers with conflicting views and a diverse range of mediums and disciplines within your subject. That's it. If you'd like more advice on how to write a great personal statement, check out the rest of this series. Or if you think you benefit from somebody looking over your personal statement or giving more specific advice, you can get free mentoring at app.unireach.co.uk. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful.